G'day everyone, welcome back to Zero Access Footy episode number 18 we've got today. I'm here again with Bem, and we're going to go ahead and have a look at all things going on in round... I always forget the round number. Round number 15. It's, look, it's actually getting to the point where all the rounds are starting to gel together, but we're getting closer and closer to the pointy end of it all, of course. We've got plenty to have a chat about, including some news and some announcements that had come out in regards to the upcoming fixture that I want to get stuck into to begin with. The fixturing for the future, I believe from 2028 onwards, is going to be looking a little different. Do you have that one up in front of you at the moment?
Okay. So Carl Twomey has broken it essentially into three different options for 2028 onwards. Just want to preface it. It's not immediate. So option one, as has been reported, is the home and away season decreased to 22 games. 18, obviously, with the 19 teams, you play each team once, and then 4 double-ups. Then you have the gather round removed, with the AFL buying back home games off clubs to retain each home 11 and away 11 game structure. Option two is to increase it to 24 games, 18 games, and 6 double-ups, with 2 neutral rounds, including gather round, and 1 potentially something like rivalry round has been talked about, I know for sure. Option 3 has gone to decrease to 20 games and a 3-week group stage structure. This is 18 games and 2 double-ups, which has been here as rivalry round and gather round. And the top 16 teams split into 4 groups of 4. Bottom 3 teams form their own group and play each other once before a final 10 is determined. That is essentially a mid-season cup, like what the NBA introduced a few seasons back. Many have been arguing whether that's been a success for them. If we do it, I want St Kilda to win it. It'll count as a premiership cup. That's all that matters. That is all that matters.
Do we start calling them finals wins too?
Yes.
I don't know, man.
Yes. Should they be? No. But are they? Yes. And then there is a fourth one here with a 3-week playing tournament, 18 and 2 double-ups. Again, same thing. 4 groups of 5 clubs, with the 20th team, a state league stars concept.
Yeah, so it'd be like VFL,
Sandful,
SANFL,
Waffle. Yeah. Which, really weird thing to do, because I feel like if they come up against like a group of Nick Dacos and Zach Butters, like it'd just be like, well, what are they meant to do here?
I think
it'd be a bit weird.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at all the options, and it's weird. Andrew Dillon has some kind of fascination with the NBA. That's all I'm getting from this. He must love
absolutely
what the NBA is doing, because we've not only had the play-in, which is, I guess, technically the wild card isn't an NBA thing, but I mean, considering the NBA has pretty recently introduced one in the relative terms of their lifespan, AFL followed them up. We've now got them trying to follow up the in-season tournament that the NBA does. That I don't know if the AFL could pull it off. That's my problem. I kind of feel like we're getting on the verge of being so gimmicky, it's a joke. But at the same time, I'm never one to really back down on something that can provide entertainment. I was so harsh on the wild card because I just thought it would not be entertaining. It would just be kind of fake enjoyment. But if there's a legitimate like prize on the line, I know that in the NBA there's a cash prize, or there's like money for all the players.
It's 500k bonuses to all the players, and I believe staff as well.
Yeah, which is the big thing. It means a lot more for the club per se. And I think something like that, if they were to do that with the AFL, where they allowed it so that the whole club benefits from winning, rather than, I mean, at the end of the day, a premiership's a premiership. That's what all the teams are playing for. But the in-season tournament itself, if it can provide a reasonable prize that everyone goes for it, everyone legitimately fights hard for it, then it could provide some really, really interesting scenarios where teams who are out of the hunt or falling on some form, hell, even teams that are hot on some form. Could you imagine if Carlton were playing the form that they are now during that in-season tournament, and like how,
Yeah.
despite the fact they're not even in the top 8, but in wildcard consideration now, despite that, they could be fighting for the in-season tournament championship, whatever that may look
Absolutely.
like. So there's a bit of entertainment in it, but at the same time, we're really getting gimmicky, I feel like.
100%. But I also feel like in the NBA, because you've already got like conferences, it splits things up automatically. And then you've also got divisions inside that. So you can have an in-season tournament where you've always got the same teams, or you can switch it up without keeping the teams all together or separately. You can shuffle it every year. I feel like in the AFL, it's a lot harder to do that when you can only play once a week, and you'll only be able to play, if it's 3 times, you only play 3 weeks. It's very much based off of your draw and not so much are you actually the best team. Because if a team like, let's just go Gold Coast here, they play West Coast, they play Richmond, and they play a struggling St Kilda, for example, well, then obviously they're going to be favoured against a team like, let's say, Hawthorn, who go up against Collingwood, Geelong, and like Fremantle. It'd be a very big difference for the in-season tournament in that aspect.
It almost comes back to the whole manufactured aspect that I had a problem with the wild card stuff for. It's manufactured, not real excitement, in the sense that, oh, cool, Gold Coast, but get excited about winning the in-season tournament after facing West Coast, Richmond, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
If there's a team that could see, I guess, a narrative benefit in putting in a weaker in a weaker division or weaker team, weaker conference, then yeah, they would do so, and manufacture this excitement, manufacture success. So, look, realistically, that's option 3 and 4. The in-season tournament coming in is basically a 50-50 at this rate. The other 2 options are, I think, to me, a bit more enticing. Option 2 has it where they just go, all right, we're playing more games. That's basically it, just more games. Option 1, however, I feel like could be the best way to go. 22 games. Look, understand that technically 1 less game, but it is 1 less game. I think we'll live, especially if the wild card's coming in to
100%.
create more of that excitement.
Yeah.
The gather round removed is definitely going to suck. And it says all AFL would buy back home games off clubs to retain each club's structure.
I'd absolutely want to keep gather round. I just think it's so much fun. It's travel. It gets a whole group of people into a place maybe they've never experienced before, in an environment that's very, very different. Like, you don't have that in a whole lot of other sports at all.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that, to be fair, has also been executed very well. My one question to you is, what do you think, like, not necessarily one of these 4 options that have been presented, but what is like an actual change you would want to see, or what do you think the fixture should look like beyond sort of 2026? Because I think there does need to be changes made.
Yeah, I guess it depends what you're trying to go for, right? I've mentioned before, I've said scrap the pre-finals bye and make it a pre-grand final bye so that we can get as much health as we can getting into the biggest game and we can make more of a spectacle of it. But if we're talking season long, I honestly haven't put enough thought into it myself to be able to give an outright answer. If I were to go off the top of my head right now, for a introduction or to make the season a bit more enjoyable, I would say go scrap like the 4-team buys and just make it 1 big week off where everyone goes, all right, it's your mid-season break. We're going to take the time to reset and we'll jump back in. All get started. Just the less amount of buys, the happier I am, realistically, is the way I'd look at it. I think buys themselves, they always just kind of suck.
I completely agree, but I don't think necessarily having just a full week off, to me, is ideal, especially when you've still got the start of the year with opening round where teams have staggered buys coming in. If you then have that and then they already have a second buy, I don't think it necessarily correlates. So to me, to make the fixture as even as possible, just get fucking rid of opening round and all the buys that they create. It is.
I really don't know why opening round has come in. I mean, I understand when they first started.
Yeah, when it first came in, it's 4 years ago now. There's no need to keep it beyond 2026. Absolutely no reason. It then creates a much more even fixture, creates a runway where you don't have teams playing too early in the year as well. And maybe if you do want to have an extra round, you can then push it because you've had it. So you've experienced that, but maybe not yet at least. But also just then have in the 3-week a 3-week period, have 6 teams play 6 games and 6 teams have a bye. That way it's a 3-week structure every single year. You can change it based off a fixture. You can, however they feel like they want to do it, but it means that it's 3 weeks and you're gone. You can go into the end of the season, no problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find a really, really even outcome. It's hard to find a bang on correct system, especially because I'm looking at all 4 of the concepts that they've given us, and all 4 of them, I'm like, I really wish something was different there. But that's the deal of negotiation, right? The reason those options have been presented is because it's a nice mix of what the players want and potentially what the AFL themselves want. Yeah. What can earn them more money? Of course, some of the I'd imagine most of the players are always going to try and look for a way to decrease the factor of being injured, make each game worth a little more for their time. Mm-hmm. All those little things that players will be fighting for, the Players Association. So, look, I understand it's never going to be perfect. So, whatever option it may be, because it looks like this is all that's going to be, it's going to be one of the 4. We may be seeing a in-season tournament coming in really, really soon, which would be, look, I'm willing to give it a chance. I think I was very unwilling to give the wild card a chance when it first got announced. Yeah. And we're seeing a few more of the positives than I expected with that. But I think we'll leave that discussion there. Let's have a look at round 15. Let's see how these games shaped up. Of course, the big one of the week was Fremantle and Geelong. I'm really impressed with Geelong. I'm really impressed because I thought they could have really had like the brakes beat off them, but they really fought hard against this Fremantle side.
100%.
And so, I mean, you expect it from Geelong still, even when they have poor games, you expect them to come back and have a good one. But, I mean, this is just more evidence. Freo are absolutely number one. There was the argument for 1A and 1B with Sydney, but now it feels like Sydney are just one touch off the pace with a couple of close calls.
Yeah.
So, despite them having a bye, Freo now stand clear. They are clear number one.
They underperformed by 40 points on expected score. And they still were able to beat a very, very good team in Geelong. Yeah. I get no Bailey Smith. I get no Tom Stewart. It's going to be hard for teams to beat this team. Like, I get that's an easy thing to say, but they can have an off night and they will still come at you and beat you.
Tracy, I mean, if you're talking off night, Tracy was probably the least productive I've seen from him in a long time, but Murphy Reid showed up. Like they've got a really, really good system going right now, and they're all systems firing. Led by Luke Jackson. Unbelievable statistic night. But I think you brought it up the previous week. Potential number 1 ruckman in the competition. This was a pretty good statement to make if you're looking to be number 1 ruckman in the league. This was fantastic.
He's just a phenomenal player. Like, just elite. And he works hard. That's the thing. He's a very good ruckman who is extremely athletic, who gets around the ground and just goes, I'm going at you. If you cannot go with me, you're going to get killed. And he did that all night. And the Geelong ruckman weren't able to stay with him, hence why I was able to leap forward and kick 3 goals. And it just shows like that is an absolute weapon that I'd honestly argue no other team has. Like, no other team has a ruckman who can just go forward and kick 3 goals without being played as a forward when he's there.
Yeah, he is the definition of the unicorn right now. He is 100%. The unicorn that you're looking for if you're any team, realistically. Yeah. But, I mean, how many is that in a row now for Freo?
13, maybe 14.
Yeah, no, because it was 12. 13. It was 12 against North. I remember that they had the bye. Now it's 13.
Yeah,
definitely. 13. They're starting to hit rare air. We could be seeing Fremantle's first premiership this year, which is, I mean, it's definitely not far fetched now. It's definitely not far fetched.
100%.
Suns losing to the Hawks on their home deck. What used to be a bit of a fortress. This team now seems to struggle to fight against any team with premiership aspiration. I guess I can say that Gold Coast looked a bit more hungry compared to previous weeks. Noah Anderson had 43 disposals. It's hard to say that they weren't getting themselves around it and trying to work their game plan out. But, I mean, Hawthorn was just able to hold them off. Like, it was a really, really high-scoring affair. You got your usuals from Nick Watson. Dylan Moore had himself a fantastic... Yeah, exactly right. Connor McDonald had 2 in 20. John Newcomb with 2 in 30. He was a goal off of Sacramento, so you just know that that's a fantastic game off of that.
Still, the midfield for Gold Coast makes no sense.
They just don't click, do they?
It really doesn't. Like, it felt like it could have been addition by addition, but it's somehow been subtraction by addition. Like, with this midfield, they have added to it and they've gotten worse. When last year they subtracted by it and got better. It's almost as if it's just this awful growing pain period that just doesn't seem to click yet. And doesn't seem to work at all. Petrarca individually has been fantastic this season. You can argue that in an individual perspective, Petrarca has been probably he's having one of his top 2 seasons individually. But I just struggle to see this team even getting out of the wild card at this rate. They just feel like a middle of the pack. Have you seen their fixture? Their fixture is incredibly difficult. Like, they are just going to be stuck in middle ground. Like, I've always known that it was a tough fixture for them all year, but I wouldn't imagine it gets any easier from here on. We'll talk a little more on Gold Coast later because it is an interesting topic, but on Hawthorn, they were just able to score with ease off of turnover. Like, once Gold Coast made a simple mistake, they were just able to catch them out so simply, and their small forwards got to work. I think it was Jimmy Bartell in the end who put 10 goals between the 4 of them, being Watson, Moore, McDonald, and Ginnivan, and they ended up kicking 10. Like, it's just incredible their work rate, and they didn't even have Gunston this game, and they still put up an incredible score. Like, they just have avenues now in their midfield. Was just getting to work all night long, and like, the importance of Will Day coming back cannot be what's the word? Understated. I get what you're saying. That is it. Played 2/3 of the game. Obviously, he's not going to be ran off the park with him being in a bit of an in and out injury state. But I mean, did all he needed to do, provided the impact that Will Day can. It's just become an all around team effort for Hawthorn. There is no individual that seems to be outperforming anyone else. And it could be any player that has themselves a great game. You could see Josh Weddle opening a game up, Ginnivan doing so. Nick Watson, of course, Newcomb could have a godlike game on off the half back line as well, just tearing teams up via ball use. Yeah, it's a very well-oiled machine there, but they do feel a step off the top 4 pace, or the top 2 pace at the very least. If we're talking top 4, they do have their occasional hiccup, but then again, what side in the top 6 hasn't had a hiccup outside of your top 2? Outside of your top 2, Geelong have had a few. Adelaide have had a few. Melbourne, they had their Essendon. They're the only one to lose to Essendon, so more than a hiccup there. Still hanging that over their head, damn. Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to. It's kind of wild that they did lose that one. I would be so happy because last year it was St Kilda and West Coast. If Essendon don't win a game for the rest of the year, it's going to be like Melbourne and us all over again. Yep. It's brilliant. Yeah, exactly right. But in the same vein of talking about Demons losses, they had another one this week. Adelaide managed to take a really, really well-fought contest. Yeah. I think that the positive for this game, for Melbourne at the very least, is that they do feel finals bound. They don't feel like they can't put up a fight despite the amount of youth. You did kind of expect a little fall-off with this team, considering how young they are. They've really, really held off on it, but 3 losses out of their last 5 games now, with their only wins coming to Collingwood and Essendon. So you look at all of their losses and you kind of start to see, all right, maybe we're seeing a little fall off the horse, fall off the bike type of trend here, but they still sit in 6th position. So as much as this loss will definitely hurt them, because now Adelaide leap up to 5th, led by the return of Mark Keane. I just want to point that out as well. They are starting. Yes, going. Exactly right. They're now starting to roll into the season. Yeah, and I think I'd much rather that than flaming out like they did last year. But I think this only happens for Adelaide because of the fact that their game plan has changed up a lot more as of recent than it did to start the year. That, like I said, beginning of the year, their game plan feels so
much
It was
opposite
a one
to
wood.
what works.
It was one wood. It
was
was one paced. It was we can only go long, go to contest, and when our key forwards aren't winning those contests, we can't move the ball. That was
yeah,
what
and
it was.
I guess when you mention it like that, yeah, they're one wood per se. One would because it was so reliable for them last year. It's what helped them get to first. But this year, it just wasn't working. So their one wood was just incredibly weak. They've finally picked up with the times, is what it looks like, ever since their bye break. It has been looking so much more impressive. And again, having the likes of Keane, you've got an all-Australian player coming into the fold again after a freak accident to start the year. An absolutely ridiculous start from Jordan Dawson. He didn't seem to need to put a full game effort in. I think that's the only knock you can give on him. But people have said he's in rare form. He is the most impactful player, I think, in terms of like impact per possession or just how much he affects the game. Very, very niche and very strange ways of kind of talking about the game per se. But Dawson has been fantastic.
Last week I saw a stat. He was number 3 for ball use, meaning he's getting the third most impact ball in hand in the competition. So it just goes to show that the form he's in. I think top 2 were Naz and Heaney. So Heaney being 1 because the amount of goals he kicked is a huge thing. Naz, when he's not kicking as many goals this year, just shows how good of a player he is. And then, Dawson now starting to kick goals every week, just getting him in crazy impact.
So lots to look out for when we see these teams in future matchups. We're going to have a look and make sure that we keep an eye out on whether Melbourne fall off the horse once they come back from their bye, because I think they are probably very much looking for a week to kind of settle down. It's been a crazy year so far, so that week to settle down will be nice.
They're the only team that to have their bye round 16 without playing in the opening round. So they've had a really long year.
Yeah. And then Adelaide, we'll see how high that it can go up the ladder or if they fall back down. But I do suspect they will make a fight for that top 4, I reckon. I reckon they are more than a chance of sneaking in there if a team like Hawthorn or Geelong slip up just the slightest. But we're going to look at the rest of round 15 now. GWS going down to Carlton by 23 points. This is the 5th game in a row, I believe, for Carlton. And I do want to quickly point out that ever since we made a video discussing how Carlton could still technically win the premiership or still could technically be close, they've managed to pull off this feat. So I don't know. Maybe we are the Carlton whisperers. I don't know. Do we want to take that credit? I'll take the credit happily.
What are their odds to win the flag right now?
It always comes back to this, doesn't it?
Always comes back to this.
Where are they at right now? They're 14. They're at
$81 odds.
They're at 14. I thought they'd be higher than that, especially after beating GWS.
I might put $10 on that.
Yeah. I can't blame you. Maybe I will too.
Yeah, with my $5 left in
actually,
my
no,
account.
North Melbourne is more enticing to me, actually. Have a look at that. 251, and they're in the wild card spot. Technically, they're still a very good chance of doing it. They're a more likely chance of doing it.
Yeah, no. Let's move on. But seriously, what is happening with the Giants? Where are they at?
They're everywhere, man. We talked about good form from them, and now they can't seem to. They can't seem to string it together.
They couldn't have had the bye at the worst time.
Yeah, you'd said that before. Yeah, I remember that.
So they've just been stuffed.
Very much so. Collingwood versus Port Adelaide, the battle of the prison jumper, and Collingwood take it by 26 points.
They kicked 5 goals in a row. Port Adelaide didn't do a whole lot else throughout the game. I don't think they kicked a goal in the second half.
It is the aimlessness of Port Adelaide. 6 goals, 16 was their final score.
Yeah.
So just inaccuracy in front of goals as well. Nick Dacos didn't have anyone sitting on him, so he jumped out to a goal in 41. De Goey, having a really underrated season, continues to perform. 3 goals, 26 disposals, really good from him.
Yeah.
And then, all this really felt like was a bit of a Zach Butters homecoming is all it really felt like, which is sad to see because Port Adelaide are going out real sad, man. They feel like they're about to get lost at sea for a long time.
Yeah. it's just stuck in mediocrity. It's the worst place to be in any sport. And when you've got your best player about to leave, not looking great.
It's just not good because ever since they lost out on their Naz signing or the Naz sweepstakes per se, or you guys re-signed him, it's just felt like, oh, there goes the plan. We're done. I guess we'll just continue.
All eggs in one basket. That's failure.
There's no reason to go to Port Adelaide at the moment, unfortunately. At least it doesn't feel like it.
No.
We'll move to some. Look, it wasn't the greatest watch. We did go and see this together. This was Richmond versus North Melbourne at the MCG. And fun fact, I had talked to you about this. This was the first North Melbourne win I had seen in person since 2021. Can you believe it? I have finally, 5 years later, broken the drought. It feels good. It feels great, actually.
Round of applause for the Big North.
So that was an eye-opening experience, that one, because
that was not an eye-opening experience.
It wasn't. No, it was in the bad way, because seeing how rushed and how sloppy we were, and the fact that we nearly let Noah Bolter kick their way back into the game, man, it was ugly game.
It was really, really ugly. I just think, there's issues about Ross Ball and how he doesn't work anymore. I don't think North are in any much better of a situation game style wise.
Still feels like they don't have the skill to pull off what he's trying to perform. They're trying to go down the middle. I know it's because they're trying to pick off the kick in the middle, but none of them have the confidence to do it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So they end up just holding it and hoping something opens up just out of nowhere. I think there's positives here and there to take, but just a tough watch.
Great. Absolutely.
And speaking of tough watches, your boys.
Can we not talk about this, please? I'd really rather not.
It was more just the fact that you lost Jack Sinclair for what looks like a long period of time.
Tom de Koning fractured 2 ribs and punctured his lung.
Jesus. Yeah. I think I may have hexed him because I was taking the piss out of you on the weekend.
It was, I was not a happy man, to say the least, and we got stitched over. Bulldogs played horrible football. They did in Australia. They sat deep and they waited for us to turn the ball over, have a bad shot, have a bad kick inside 15. That's all they did. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, have a cry, mate. Let's move on from there. Let's stop talking about footy. It feels like the footy was such a drag this weekend.
Footy on a footy podcast. What a great idea.
No, but for round 15 in particular, it was such a drag this weekend. But I mean, to say that Gold Coast are in a drag would be an understatement, though. You had mentioned previously we were going to get back to these guys. The Suns are in all sorts, considering where they're in their premiership window. There's no doubt about it. They need to be competing for premierships, and they aren't even in the top 8 right now.
I feel like I've heard a bit of a narrative coming out, like, we knew it was going to take time and our expectation was not there yet, when they quite literally went all in on this year.
They've been spending 15 years giving themselves time to make their leap. They made it last year. They needed to improve at this point. It's just no excuse.
They moved past players like Flanders, like Fiorini, like Butterick, who they thought, okay, there's no point keeping them anymore because they're not going to improve our ceiling. And they went and put all in on Christian Petrarca. And then this is where they're at the moment. They're just they're not good enough.
They put all their chips in on a guy who is going to need to take time to fit in. And 100%. You know what? I don't even want to put the blame on Petrarca. I want to actually put it on the guys around him, especially for me this year, Matt Rao. He feels like he's taken, I don't want to say step back because you know what you expect from Matt Rao. And maybe the Brownlow medal not has affected the way he plays, but it has affected the way we see him. It's almost as if that higher rating now that we attribute to him because of that Brownlow medal has affected the way that we see his play on the field. We're going, okay, that's a Brownlow medalist. He should be playing at a best in the game pace. But it doesn't feel like that anytime you watch Gold Coast play. it feels like Matt Rowell is a scrappy player, but he doesn't look like the best player out there. Or he doesn't even look like a consistently amazing player that you'd expect from your top 10. I mean, I feel like I shouldn't be feeling hesitance when I talk about Matt Rowell being a top 10 player. Again, just came off a Brownlow medal. But in a sense, it almost gives you that Ollie Wines feel without the old age, if that makes sense. Ollie Wines, when he got it, you go, yeah, fantastic player. Really good.
Ollie Wines would have been drafted in, 2013? So he would have won it 8 years after he was drafted?
Was it 21 that he got it?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah, so 8 years after.
Only 2 year difference then between him and Rao. It wasn't even a huge age gap.
Well, there you go. I mean, just ridiculous. Shows that Matt Rowell. It's a really, really interesting scenario to have Matt Rowell be looked at as such a non-impactful player at the moment, and I want to give leniency, but considering how well they did last year, it really feels like that may be a flash in the pan. It's becoming really concerning because, we thought that this year they'd be competing for flags. It would convince Ben King to stay, but now, why would Ben King want to stay on a stagnant team?
100%.
Especially in the smallest market in the league.
Why would Jed Walter want to stay? Why would Charlie Ballard want to stay? Why would, by next year, Noah Anderson, Matt Rowell want to stay? Why? What is convincing them to stay up there? Because at this stage, they're all, okay, it's not our fault. Like Damien Hardwick, I don't think has put his hand up and said, I've made a genuine mistake this year in setting up the team. I haven't seen that once. I haven't seen him come out and say, yeah, our players just haven't been good enough. It's all been deflection almost.
I'm interested to see where the change will need to be with Gold Coast because I'm trying to look at them in a statistical sense because, they're coming off of a few losses in a row. I know from the quick look that I'm seeing here, at least 4 losses in a row. And it feels like anytime they play they've kind of got that Dogs feel from last year, where anytime they play a top 8 side, you can expect the worst out. Well, maybe not the worst per se, but you know that the other team is probably the shout because they know how to play up or they know how to play to a certain standard. This year, it feels like Gold Coast are playing just well enough to smack some teams, but can never get over the top of others. And there has been times, maybe not in this previous week with the Hawthorn loss. It's just so, I guess, sad because Gold Coast really had a chance on their home ground to make the most of a Hawthorn side that can be a bit flaky, but missed that opportunity, got smacked, and I mean smacked by him when they played him in Tassie as well, and have just looked more and more lost as the season has gone on. I'm really worried for what they'll do. I genuinely believe they won't get out of the wild card. I think they're going to make the wild card.
How does it turn around? How?
I could only imagine that just over time the team chemistry gets better and they start making less little mistakes, but
potentially, but at the same time they've just got to get better.
They are such a talented side, and you'll hear often from professionals they'll say over and over again that AFL and professional Aussie rules footy is a game of mistakes, and it's about how little of them you can make. I see a lot of mistakes being made by this Gold Coast side still that they're trying to polish up, but just can't seem to work it out. They can't seem to turn their usual quick play down the wing into a clean quick play down the wing.
Yeah.
They're missing out on the really easy hit-up kick to Ben King more often than not because they want to try and get others involved, like Ben Long. I mean, Ben Long is good, but I also haven't seen Jai Farah that much this year. I don't know if that's because he's just not been needed.
He was a big piece last year in just terms of being a fantastic role player. Again, coming back to that issue of they don't have any role players. They've just got stars in the making.
Jamara's another one too. We haven't seen much of Jamara.
He's been poor in the VFL.
Fair.
Hasn't demanded being in the AFL team.
And that's completely fair if he hasn't justified it. But it's just a load of question marks. They very easily have the talent to get over this year and potentially take their step next year, but you don't want to waste any year in a premiership window, especially with the talent on offer. There's a reason we were saying a Q Clash Grand Final to start the year, it's because Gold Coast, talent-wise, arguably on paper, had the best team in the AFL.
Absolutely.
So it's really disappointing. Super disappointing.
Very much so.
Anything you want to add to that? Because I feel like it's just going to be a lot of raving and ranting at the moment.
It is. It is. I got nothing more to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I just want to see Gold Coast do more. I want to see them like make a prelim. If I'm being honest, after their win last year, it's like you guys have been around for so long, man. You need to do something.
It's about time. It's about damn time.
Yep. Let's have a look at round 16, shall we? I think round 16 has some...
Finally, the end of the buys. Finally.
Is it? No, I think there's some... No.
There's
last
4 week.
This is the last week. Yeah. So the buys this week, Western Bulldogs, Geelong, St Kilda, Melbourne. You get a break. You get a week off, mate. You get a week off.
Hallelujah.
If we're having a look, though, the first game of the week, this will be an interesting test. Brisbane versus Sydney at the Gabba.
What a belter.
If Brisbane are looking to keep their season alive and to keep their premiership hopes alive, this is a must-win to me. I think Brisbane have to. Obviously, that is a much harder task against a team like Sydney. But Sydney, like we mentioned, they've shown signs of being vulnerable.
They have.
How do you reckon Sydney do get beat this week?
It's about pressure. Like, I feel like with Brisbane, if you see their pressure early, if you see them getting up in the opponent's grill, you see them getting more numbers to the contest, you're like, okay, they're switched on, they're going to do it. And well, they're coming off their bye, correct?
Brisbane.
Yeah, they are. I think that's going to help them. I think they've been able to reset. They might be able to get a couple of people back. And I just think Hipwood now as well, joining with Morris, is going to be super dangerous in an attack with still potential concerns around McCartan and his availability due to his concussions, I think is going to be a big thing. But if they're not able to be physically demanded and really getting in that pressure game up early, then Sydney are going to be able to score really quickly because we've seen Brisbane's defense fall under serious amounts of pressure consistently this year.
The only times I've seen Brisbane be a legitimately dominating team so far in this last 2-3 month period is when Lachie Neale is playing at his best as well. I think we're going to need to see a big game out of him because when he's firing, it seems to me that the rest of the team begins to fire alongside him. And those weeks where he's just rolling with the punches, they just don't look as concerning. They don't look as frightening as they have at their very, very best. So I'm hoping that we can see that version of Lachie in this game because, I mean, a heavyweight fight between these guys could be so much fun. Absolutely. It's also been a lack of cleanliness from Brisbane spark plugs. I think Cam Rayner, Kai Lohman, Charlie Cameron, they've all looked a little sloppy at times. That game against Richmond was really concerning, giving up 80 points to a Richmond side that has struggled to find their key forwards and to find their scoreboard pressure as much as they have. Could be just a ground thing, could be a Tassie thing, but yeah, Brisbane gonna need a big response this week. Again, we've said before, Sydney are gettable.
They absolutely are. I am leaning, honestly, towards Brisbane.
I was going to go Brisbane just for the narrative kind of sense. I was going to say Brisbane take it by 5 points.
Oh, close game. I'm going to go Brisbane by 17, and I think Zach Bailey has a Sacramano. 3.
I love this new Sacramano thing. I love it. I love it so much. Good, man. Was it off of Dan Does Footy that came around?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
I honestly don't know, but the minute I saw it, I'm like, that's actually a sick thing to kind of look out for.
What's a Northy Mano?
Northy Mano.
Yeah. 40-4.
A Northy Mano is they get benched for 20 minutes. That's actually a sick stat. Adam Trelaw had a North Mano. If a player gets taken off for more than 20 minutes without an injury, it's a Northy Mano. That's so good. I love that. That was off the dome too.
Damn.
We've got a showdown this week though. How good is
Big
this?
boys.
Adelaide Oval Showdown. They've always got good things. The most recent one, of course. Was it Braden Cook? Was that
Yes,
his
sir.
game? Where he
Yes,
won
sir.
it at the end? Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. He and
Showdowns
Joe Barry going bang
always,
for bang.
always find a way to be an absolutely ripping contest. Port Adelaide, Adelaide. I mean, there's a clear favourite going into this one, both off of just not only recent performances, but form in terms of recent 5-game form.
Yeah.
Is there a world where Port Adelaide takes this? Are they going to have to kick super accurately to take this one?
They will. They absolutely will. But they do look kicking accurately at the Adelaide Oval. I just think with the injuries piling up for them now, like they had 3 on the weekend. Radigalia got injured.
Yeah, that's right.
Ewan McKinley and Jack Lukosius just off back as well. I'm just like, it feels exactly like last year for Port Adelaide. It just feels identical to me. So I'm struggling to see a world where they do end up getting on top because Adelaide are just in that sort of form right now.
And they're getting pieces back. Again, Mark Keane. I love Mark Keane as a player, even though he's a bit of a flopper. He can really flip a game on a switch. It's exciting to watch him play. I am going to go Adelaide take this one, and in the spirit of the showdown, they take it by 1 point.
I am going the opposite. In non-spirit of the showdown, Adelaide by 45.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Port Adelaide.
No, I'm not that crazy.
You are a little. Just a little bit. All right, last game.
Just a little.
Last game that, I mean, if it goes the other way, it could really change everything for both of these teams.
They beat them there last year.
Yeah.
The biggest game.
I was going to say, Freo versus Gold Coast at Optus is a very, very notable matchup for that exact reason. David Swallow's kick after... no, it wasn't after the siren, but to give them the lead. Off. Yeah, that's right. A bit of a slaying of the demons moment for Fremantle here.
Good bear.
If they can... I honestly think that Freo could belt these guys. There's a part of me that thinks Gold Coast on the back foot, Fremantle in the best form they've ever been in. They just go, we need to get rid of some of these demons. We need to win this one by a healthy margin.
Something's tipping me off.
You think it's going to be... Are you thinking Gold Coast?
There's something really just like irking me about this game.
Do you think that like it's a part of you that's going, oh no, Gold Coast are going to find a way to bring some of that magic back?
Absolutely.
You've said it before. They've got to lose somewhere. They've got to lose at some point.
Fremantle have got to lose at some point. Gold Coast have got to win at some point. They've got the history between the two. I'm just like, is it this week? Is that too hater? Is it this week?
Yeah, but you don't hate Fremantle.
No. Screw it. I'm going to go Fremantle anyway. Fremantle by 15.
Yeah, I think Fremantle could really open this game. I'm going Fremantle by 50. I genuinely believe
big call. Damien Hardwick to get sacked.
Damien Hardwick on the chopping block. Can't wait to make that video, mate.
Ooh, let's go, baby.
We do love a bit of a blank got fired
100%.
Video here on Zero Access Footy. But
Fossey's getting sacked in the morning.
Because we mentioned it already, who do you reckon gets the Northie Mano? Who do you reckon this week gets the Northie Mano? 20 minutes of no time on the ground.
I reckon it'll be Brandon Zerk Thatcher if he's fit. I don't know if
why was I thinking that as well? He does have a little bit of a strange...
It'll either be him or Todd Marshall. One of the two.
I'll give a shout. Not for any bad reason, but for keeping him healthy. I'm going to say Will Day.
Okay.
I think there's a chance that Hawthorn get up so much they just go, all right, Will Day, you're going to take a seat. Kind of like they did with Jack Gunston.
Sit your ass down, boy.
Kind of like what they did with Jack Gunston. So we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for the week.
Other games the week?
The rest of the games, of course.
The rest of the games.
Hawthorn versus GWS that I mentioned before. GWS is just such a hard team to tip with or against. I'm going to say Hawthorn.
I can't put any confidence in them. Let's go Hawks by 30 on the dot.
I'm going to say Hawks by 13. I think...
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not going to go too much into depth, but GWS is strange, man.
Yeah, Carlton versus the West Coast Weagles.
If Carlton lose this one out of all of them,
I'd love if they lost this one. Honestly,
that'd be such a strange game for them to lose.
I'd
in the form they're in.
It'd be so good, though. Could you imagine?
I'm going to give them faith because they have given me a reason to give them faith. I'm going to say Carlton take this by 22 points.
I can't go the upset. I'm sorry. Carlton by 18.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. Collingwood versus Richmond. I really want to go the Richmond way, but oh my God, the way that Richmond played on the weekend. North were bad, Richmond were bad.
Collingwood by 52.
Yeah, Nick Dacos could tear this game apart as well.
Nick Dacos shout for Sacramento this week.
Nick Dacos shout for double Sacramento.
60 and 6.
Let's go Collingwood by 44.
In what might be the official stinker of the week, North Melbourne versus Essendon.
No, it's not stinker of the week. Yeah,
this might be the official stinker of the week.
It's not official. It's not official.
It is. It's my official.
I reckon North take this one by 50. Don't. No. You said you wouldn't tip against them. You said you wouldn't tip with them.
Can I break it?
No. I don't allow it. Go on. What's your tip?
Let's go. North Melbourne by 1 point. I don't feel good. I don't feel good.
No, I feel great about it.
Yeah, sure you do.
Watch this space. Anyways, that is Zero Access Footy episode number 18. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Again, if you enjoyed it though, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Of course, follow us on all our other platforms too, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, all the other places you can catch our content. And I'll see you all again very, very soon for another one. Stay tuned for some more content during the week as well.
Bye.
Appreciate you all. We'll see you on the next one. Catch you later.